Hi, my name is Michael Fagan, and I'm the host of the show. This is Waiter Nation Live Podcast. Today, we're going 20. All right, no politics, no unemployment talk. We have a great comedian who's local, who's been out in Las Vegas for the last 5 years, Butch Bradley. Happy to have him on. He works at the Strat in the LA Comedy Club. He's got a special coming up on comedy dynamics. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of all stand-up comedians. I'm amazed with the whole process, so I can't wait to dive in with you, Butch. How are you today?
I'm good. It's so great to be here. Living in Vegas is cool. I love home, so I miss home. So this is great for me, even though I'm really not there. In my mind, I have a half a cheesesteak from Dino's. I could see Lucy the elephant.
Right?
Maybe I've had too much to drink. All the dreams of South Jersey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You grew up in Margate, right?
I did. I was born in Atlantic City, and most of my family, all AC. My mom grew up in the Inlet, but she moved us to Margate, and I went to Blessed Sacrament on Jerome Avenue,
Oh,
and my brother and I would sneak into the Jewish Community Center
yeah.
and use all their facilities. And I actually went to nursery school at Jewish Community Center. So when I first got to Catholic school, I was confused when they were talking about Jesus. I'm like, wait a minute, I learned differently. Yeah, so I was a confused Catholic boy. I thought I was Jewish. I still think I'm Jewish. I'm,
I'm gonna play.
I'm in between. I'm Catholic and Jewish.
I'm gonna play a little clip from one of your stand-ups, and then I'll be able to share it out. Where was this from, Butch?
This is the Laugh Factory in Las Vegas. I got I'm the scene here right before COVID. Absolutely explosive. Hasn't been anything like it since the 80s or the Strip in Hollywood. Or early Boston 80s. We've got the Laugh Factory. We've got Brad Garrett's. We've got Kimmel's, Jimmy Kimmel's. We have the Comedy Cellar. We have the LA Comedy Club, and you're just popping spot to spot like you can only do in like LA or New York. And here's an example of me popping in to say hello at the Laugh Factory, and they threw me up.
So let's see.
It's fucking weird. Hate me differently. Hate me differently. Hate me like, no, don't go. My eyes, I will make him melt right before. Why am I in the front row? I didn't want to go out tonight. I hate fucking holidays. Where's my green suit and my little dog? Fuck the little people. Thank you. He needs all of those. This guy right here, he is inside just like this time of year is bullshit. Wow, I could feel it. He feels happier than you already. He knew it. That's what sent him out for booze. He's like, you know what? Come on, we gotta go out. It's our night. Thank you for being you, sir. He's like the happy pirate in your life.
So that is a little example of what you do on stand-up. But comedy dynamics, you have a special coming up with them.
Yeah, so what's funny, I'll mention the clip real quick because East Coast people, like literally that opening is improv crowd work that I learned as a kid at resorts watching Don Rickles and Rodney and but that's what we do.
Yeah.
We speak to everyone, and a lot of other comedians from different parts of the world think I'm crazy because I'll go in and do 15 minutes with an audience and they're like, that's insane. And I'm like, literally anyone in my family could do this. I mean, you think it's a unique talent, but I'm like, I could have at least a dozen people in my family cover for me. If I said, just work the crowd, they'd be like, okay, I got it. Let me know when you're here. Like, that's how we talk every day. We speak to one another. We say hello. We fight with like humor. Like, you cut me off. But, yeah, that unique element that you get from New York, Philly, and Jersey, is what really always kept me a step ahead of everyone and kept me interesting to people in bookers and in the industry. And that's how I ended up with a residency at the Stratosphere, or the Strat as they call it now. And because I can do a new show every night,
Right.
which seems amazing to the rest of the world. But if I asked one of my old aunts to get up and talk for an hour, they would get up and talk for an hour. Like, it's an East Coast gift. And I got lucky at the LA Comedy Club at the Strat on a quiet night about a year and a half ago. They happened to be filming a documentary on Doyle Bronson, famous poker player, who like basically is the heart of poker, cowboy hat for those of you who don't know. And my friend was working with them, the director Sean McNamara from Soul Surfer, and Todd Fisher, Carrie Fisher's brother from Star Wars. This group of 5 people on a dead Tuesday night. My buddy goes, let's go see Butch Bradley. Well, he doesn't know I'm in the back of the green room, not knowing anything. I'm just looking out at 30 people going, this is a fucking nightmare. I should have crushed in school. I should have kept a job. I should be delivering pizza or subs for Sacco's or Dino's. I mean, I saw that guy 10 years later. He's driving a Porsche. I fucked my whole life up. Like, I'm losing it. And then I said, chill out. Go have fun. Don't be a baby. It's just a quiet night. And I got loose, and I went out, had fun, and had like this weird little kill set. And I don't take credit for it. I literally think it's like old dead comics and God having a blast through me, and me just using the cranky New Jersey, oh great, it's raining again feeling to make people laugh. But as I came off stage, I looked to my left and I knew, I was like, oh, they're industry. Because industry looks at you weird. They like half enjoy you. And I leaned behind the curtain and I thought, I'm either going to hear something horrible or amazing. And I thought, I'm going to go for it. I put my ear, and I've never done this my whole career. I was just like, I listened, and I heard them say some wonderful things about me. And I opened the curtain, and I introduced myself, and they laughed because I sort of surprised them. And I go, thank God you were saying something nice. Well, they Sean McNamara and Eric Audet and that crew from Brookwell McNamara, we had a meeting, like we talked, and then the next day at like 8 a.m., I get a call, and I end up at Aria for a meeting that only happens in Hollywood for 4 hours. They come out, they film me for 1 hours. I tell them I want it to feel like you're really in a comedy club. You got to unleash me in the audience. They wire it. Todd Fisher comes out with a 6-camera crew, and then it's sat in the can, and it's about to go. COVID hits. Well, no one has anything in the can right now. All of a sudden, my materials are with the president of Netflix. They're like, listen, we have a special that's out there, and everyone wants to look at it. Right. And my manager calls and goes, you're the only guy in comedy who's got attention during COVID. And I was like, somewhere crying, eating, watching a Netflix special, binging Warrior Nun. And, and then I find out something good's happening. And Comedy Dynamics bought it. They've got Gaffigan, they've got Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart. And I just signed my deal July 17th on my birthday. Huge, amazing thing. And on the table, I have an animation deal. So all of this stuff just sort of happened, from however these things happen. But I got very blessed to have things already in the can. And, that's where we are now. So,
well, that's always preparation. And that's like everybody says, you got everybody knows your name overnight, but they don't. You've been out there hustling for years, grinding. Right?
Grinding. It's so funny you say that because we always joke that, when you get your break and, this will be out. And, people from home who know me, who supported me at the Comedy Stop for years, who kept saying, when are you going to take off? When's it going to take off? Well, I was already blessed to be a comedian in LA, working the Laugh Factory, the Improv, and the Comedy Store, and working with people I dreamt of, wouldn't even imagine getting to know Rodney Dangerfield or getting to know, Chris Rock, and Tony Rock's my best friend, his brother, like that all the pleasures that come. But you're right, a lot of grinding, a lot of couch, a lot of broke, a lot of really sharing a sandwich with a comedian, right. Getting coffee, and then life started to get, go well. I ended up in Asia, first American comic in China with the show, and I just kept trying and grinding, and I'd have highs and lows, but they're going to think it all happened overnight.
Right. And hey, here's some people from back home. Frank Minio says, hey.
What's up, buddy? How are you? It's so cool. Yeah.
Giovanna's out in Vegas. Hey, G.
Yo,
Yeah.
what's up, buddy? I love it. This is so fun. What's up, Darren? Oh, Darren. Slaunch it, Darren. All the people at Re-Rock. I am so sorry for so many nights I don't remember. Dear God, God bless you.
Hey, Todd Houston saying hey.
Todd, what's up, bro? I love Todd. You know what's funny? Todd is a mind-blowing singer who was like an up-and-coming singer. No one knows. He works at Knife and Fork. That dude can sing. Make Todd Houston sing for you.
Okay.
Yeah, guy's a killer.
I liked it when you were saying like anybody from your family can go up, and I see a lot of clips and comedians talk, and they'll always say like, you got 10 minutes, you got 15 minutes, and it's like, no, yeah, I got, well, you can go up. Like you always got 15 minutes in your pocket, right? Anytime.
I at this level, yes, always nonstop. The voices in my head, even while we're dialoguing, my brain's working material on one side, and interesting premise a buddy threw at me. He said, I've been trying to throw my trash can away for 2 weeks. They don't touch my recycling bin, and they won't throw out the old trash can. Yeah. And he tortured me with this brilliant premise, and I'm just like grinding it. But a lot of people think they have 5 minutes or think they have 10 minutes. And, seasoned comedians can look at you, and if you say, hey, I'm going to do a guest spot, my name's Mike, and I'm like, how long have you been doing comedy? And you're like, look, I got an hour. I got hours. And I'm like, I'll give you 5 minutes, dude. I'll give you 5 minutes. You can tell who's really got the time and who doesn't. But, time on stage is different because when you do a TV spot, you have 4 minutes and 30 seconds with laughs. So you have to chop all that. But when you're in a live audience, 20 seconds could feel like 4 hours if you don't have comedy, people don't choose to do stand-up. Stand-up chooses you. When you realize you're a stand-up comic, you go, fuck. It would have been easier if I was a doctor or a lawyer or a police officer or a firefighter or something that I could figure out. Those are difficult jobs, but stand-up, it's basically the people that chose not to take the pill for mental illness.
Well, yeah. I watch Seinfeld all the time. The driving cars with coffee, and he talks, and it's all like comedy talk. How you come with it, how you do it, and a different breed. It's different. It's like we don't make it on anything except being funny. If you're working, you're funny. If you're not working, you're not, and that's it. There's no, oh, he likes me, so he put me up. Doesn't matter if they like me. It matters if I'm funny.
Right. Yeah. I work very hard. And not because it's I love it. This is an interesting time because COVID wiped out an incredible amount of comics and wiped out an incredible amount of future talented people that would be important to make us laugh tomorrow. I'm very lucky that, I have a lot of virtual shows in New York and overseas. I'm doing a virtual reality show in Czechoslovakia for all of that part of the world, English speakers who love American comedians. So I'm actually doing in a comedy club in the virtual world as my avatar, the first ever an evening with Butch Bradley in a cyberspace. So the world's changed, but I've been blessed with a lot of virtual stand-up. Right. Plus I do a ton of writing, and with me and the combination of being a South Jersey boy, my brain is just building with insanity. So when I get up, and I've done some secret shows here in Vegas it's okay for me I'm getting enough outlet is my point, and I'm safe. I have a residency, but we lost a lot of comedians because we need to be up, 3 to 7 times a week to maintain.
Right. Hey, if you're watching and you're a fan of Butch, share it out for us. Maybe some other people will too. Maybe they'll get to see him and comment in. He enjoys it. So do I. So, well, when I was looking at a lot of your YouTube clips and stuff, and what I'm amazed at is when a comedian like yourself will just stand on stage because and be confident with just waiting a second.
Yeah, right.
You know, because the natural instinct, and I've acted in auditions and stuff like that, and the thing you tell yourself ahead of time is slow it down, take control. And but it's crippling to do it in front of an audience, right? Like, it can cripple you to that point.
It can.
So in the beginning, to get your legs, do you go out there? I hear a lot of comedians and they say, what made me good was bombing. You know, I ate shit so many times, you know, and I just kept going back, and now I'm killing it. I'm making money, but you know, I could have quit at any time. But
everything you said is completely accurate. In my head, forever and always, I'll always recognize anytime I think I have it, I'm in a lot of trouble. Yeah. I don't care how long you've been doing stand-up. The minute you're flat-footed, about to go up, and you think you're cool, you're probably going to get snagged. But I still always tell myself, chill, and I always tell everyone, you got to just breathe and relax, and also sort of laugh through it. If you feel nervous and you feel like you're going to eat it, it can be extremely funny and easy to recover from an awkward moment that you laugh at, that you're like, all right, look, maybe I started out a little awkward with all of you. Yeah. Let me just reintroduce myself. Yeah. Take it easy. We've had bad moments, okay? You know, if you get honest with yourself, those moments can be, easy to recover. But the thing is, a real true comedian doesn't have a choice. So I felt disgusting and awful, and I recorded myself early on and watched the recording, and it took me days to watch it because I couldn't believe that I thought I was funny, and this is what I'm seeing. And it is, but because I was a real comedian, I had to go back. Right. I had to go get punched in the face again. Right. I had to keep going, and then you develop sort of an invisible armor, and you are getting used to all these eyes on you, and it's comfortable and fun, and then it becomes advantageous to you to play in that world. So, but it takes so many beatings. You know, I'm about a 90 percentile. I'm going to do well.
Right.
But every now and then, that 10%, I'll come home and talk to my girl, and she'll be like, whatever, you'll be fine. And I'm like, I can't believe this is my career. I'm like, if you really loved me before I went out the door, you would say, hey, you shouldn't do it. It might not work out. You should find a day job. You know, but the real comedians don't have a choice. I love it. Right now, I crave stage. I crave the live audience. True stand-up is with people in front of you, the energy, the attitude, the sobriety, the alcohol, the slightly stoned guy, the mom, the dad, the people that are seeing it for the first time, the religious differences between all of us, right. The cultural differences, black, white, Chinese, Hispanic, gay, straight, tall, small, fat, skinny. I want all of that shit. That green room feeling in my face. That's like my America. That's what I love. That's what I learned in Jersey, New York, and Philly. I love a dirty, mixed, crazy, healthy, fucked up room filled of us, and then I get to go dance, you know? Yeah. That's comedy.
I find it, especially when you're coming up, what would be hard for me is, and you're in a lineup and you're seeing other guys kill it. It's got to work on your confidence, right? Because somebody else has a style. Maybe they're doing the whole family bit or the wife bit, or, and you're doing something else and you're like, they killed, I didn't, I'm going to change. Like you got to have something always, like you're confident because you're thinking that works. And now you start talking, or like when Seinfeld came out in the 80s, all the other comedians were using his cadence. They said they just fell into it. He did so well that we fell into his cadence.
Yeah. And that everything you said is completely accurate. Like for me too, you sound like a seasoned stand-up. His cadence were so identically driven that even though I humbly know the guy is an incredible writer, comedian, because I do comedy, his cadence would hurt me. I'd be like, okay, I see it coming. And then everybody's starting to cookie cut, yank his style. Yeah. We call hack. So what happens is when you audition, that's why some people don't leave Iowa And when you go to New York or LA, you audition. Michael Fagan's got to be Michael Fagan,
Yeah.
whatever that might be. And you don't have to have laughs all the time. You have to be uniquely you. And that's how you become a regular in these clubs. And just like you said, you want to run with the killers. My early days in Los Angeles, the lineups were, me, Dane Cook, comedian Bob Marley out of New England, Freddie Soto, Chris Rock, Chris Tucker, every single person. Tiffany Haddish was a kid. She was in comedy camp, coming in and eating it every night, and she was one of the comedy camp kids. So you have this plethora. You have an 8, a 10, and a midnight, and you're going up after Dane Cook and Rolling Stone magazine asking you who you are and getting buried and learning. And you're just, the trick is if you can hone your own voice and not do what they're doing,
right,
and you can survive the beating, you come out of it. The more I describe this, the more I'm like, if this is heard by a psychiatrist, I could be like literally locked up forever.
Well,
yeah,
you would have to think if you're going up after Dane Cook, you have to have a moment where you're saying, what the fuck am I doing here? How, does somebody's going to pull me off in a second. They're going to realize I'm making this shit.
It's one of the greatest gifts I was ever given was Dane Cook killing it in 03, 04, 05 at his peak. Like he's just, people don't even get it. He launched MySpace. Facebook was happening. He launched it. We were sold out with 500 people down the street. And Jamie Masada, the owner of the Laugh Factory, loved me. And he would say, hey, buddy, you're not going to like me. But Friday, Saturday, buddy, you follow Dane. I'm like, fuck you, Jamie. Don't do this to me. Buddy, listen. I make you better. I make Rafi May. We go Rafi May. We go Dane Cook. We go Butch Bradley. And then you learn. You go. I go, please, like Jamie, like let me just like get comfortable. Like, hey, buddy, I do you a favor, buddy. I do you a favor. I remember eating it, and just every Thursday I'd start to feel like I couldn't breathe because Friday and Saturday in Hollywood is just death, like crazy, insane. Rodney Dangerfield every Friday, Saturday, like just all through those 2000s. And I'm not even mentioning Seinfeld's walk-in with a baseball hat, or the Chris Rocks, or the Rogans, or anybody else just popping in to warm up that I blacked out so I could wake up and do it again. But like the 15th time, I remember seeing Dean in the back of the room, and he pointed at me, and he was like, "You did it. You followed me." Like, and I remember like looking and hearing the audience, and I'm like, shit, unconsciously, it just occurred. And so I was very blessed that I came through like all those years as I was in and out of New York and Singapore and Hong Kong and China and India and learning cultural, and Malaysia and New York and Jersey gigs and Atlantic City, Laughlin, Vegas, little gig Chicago, and then beat to shit in LA again. And then, all those years were just brilliant gifts that all started with a single mom in Atlantic City who used to bring me and my brother as little kids to watch Don Rickles and Shecky at resorts when we were little kids in a big booth with the first bottled water, sitting there and going, I want to do this, but I don't know what's happening,
Yeah, it's I waited on Rickles 10 years ago. My little Rickles story, right? So at the end, and nobody says anything when
Dude, you have one. It's not little. You have one. So
at the end of it, I shake his hand, and he gives me like 200 on like a 150 bill or something like that. And I said, thanks. I said, I always see you with Newhart. How's Newhart doing? And he goes, you know what, kid? He said, you're a lousy fucking waiter. And he stands up, and he's big and heavy, right? And he's older. And he goes, you're a lousy fucking waiter. And he gets up, and he just destroys me in the middle of my dining room. And then 5 of my tables, there's a young, cute couple. There's a party of 6 top. He ruins the whole station. He just, and he looks to his wife and he says, come on, darling, let's leave. And they get up and they leave. And he was very gracious, and he shook my hand and he said, thanks for, and then all the people. And I thought, I just had Rickles do his whole act of 10 minutes on my station. It's my best.
Unbelievable. You
Right?
know, that's like the while I was watching the Sinatra documentary, people don't realize that boardwalk and that whole energy that we have in those. We grew up, or like you grow up around that. Even though when Atlantic City isn't doing so well, it's going to jump and have that. People don't have that where they have a Don Rickles moment like that. I got to see him personally once. I got to meet him. I was doing a guest spot on a show, a talk show as a stand-up. I heard his voice. I was in makeup, and I stood up, and I poked my head out, and the woman's like, Butch, I need you. And I go, oh, my God, it's Don Rickles. And I go running over, and I go, Mr. Rickles, I'm a comedian. My name's Butch Bradley. I watched you as a kid. And he's looking at me. He's setting me up, totally setting me up. And he looks at all of his people, and he goes, take it easy, kid. I don't know who the fuck you are. I'm not coming home for dinner. Why are they putting makeup on you? There's no way you're on fucking TV, kid. There's no way. He like destroys me, walks away, and I come in, and the makeup lady's like, are you okay? I go, that was amazing. I feel great. To have Don Rickles attack me was amazing, and it's such an East Coast thing. It was amazing. He destroyed me.
Jimmy Kimmel always talks about him and always talks about everybody's got a story where Rickles went up and took your part, and everybody feels like they wear a badge for that, right?
Well, you know Dom Herrera, famous from our hometown.
Yeah.
And I see him in LA all the time, and I always tell him, my cousin, hey, Dom, my cousin Andy and my cousin Joey, they all wanted to say hi. They said they know you because Sharon's a floor person, and then you know Dom would go, I actually know your cousin, and he's cool. So I'm at the Comedy Stop at the original little room because Bob Kephart and Robin Kephart truly gave me a chance as a young comic, just because Kevin Knox, a Boston comic, was there when they reviewed my tape. Yes, a VCR tape. And Kevin Knox said, this guy's a good guy, he's working hard, he deserves a break. And they let me come begin to eat it, hosting the original Comedy Stop in Atlantic City, which it was the beginning of everything. But I come out of the Comedy Stop. Dom's in the big theater at the Tropicana, and I come out. He's surrounded. My family thinks I'm great. I go, Dom, we're surrounded by like 80 people. And I go, Dom, this is incredible, man. I see you in LA. I'm here. I'm working at the Comedy Stop. I can't wait to work with you upstairs. He waits. The whole group gets quiet, and he goes, never going to fucking happen, and walks away.
Here's what, let me see what Todd says. Todd says that one of the most amazing things that you can do is completely soak in everything around you and turn it into a bit. It's amazing. I've seen him do it before, and it's mind-blowing. I think.
Thank you, Todd. I appreciate that, brother. It's a diagnosable mental illness. It's called South Jersey.
Frank Minio says that him and Robin have the tape.
Oh my God, Frank, what's up? They do. They literally, that is an amazing, like, if you believe in, like, everyone thinks coincidence, moments like, Frank and Robin Kephart and Bob Kephart and like the people, Mike Kelly's the bartender, like a family friend who is now like deputy in charge of Atlanta County Jail. Yeah. Like, so South Jersey, you know what I mean? Yep. And they're all there at that moment when my tape is being spoken about. I'm in Boston doing open mics, and Kevin Knox goes, I've seen him at Faneuil Hall. He's funny. He deserves a shot. And they gave me a shot. And I'll tell you one Comedy Stop story. I don't mean to run, but these are incredible memories. So I'm at the Comedy Stop. I'm hosting. I'm doing okay. It was originally all people in their 70s and 80s, like the original room. I'm just trying to get through without cursing and just trying to make it and not lose a job and learn comedy. I see someone pick up a glass and throw it at a waitress. I swear to you, threw a glass. All the years of bartending and service industry, I've never seen anything like this. The waitress bends over to pick up something. The glass just clears her head. It goes through the crowd of 120, bounces off the floor, hits the wall. I flip out and reveal myself as crazy Jersey boy. I'm like, are you out of your effing mind? You nutcase. You could have killed her. Nobody saw it. The room's dead silent. The cute comedian is actually a nutcase, and nobody's laughing. I've sweat pouring down my face. In my head, I'm fired. I'm fired. I go through the motion. I bring on the next comedian. I walk backstage. Bob Kephart sitting there. He has a little cocktail in his hand. He looks at me. I know I'm fired. He leans over and he laughs. He goes, "You and I are the only ones that saw her throw the glass, aren't you, Rocky?" Wow. Crazy, man. Crazy.
When you're going up with the big names and they're killing it and you're following and you're just trying not to eat it bad, are they respecting you? Are you like the little guy? You can't. How's that work? Like backstage?
At this point in my career, I'm friends with everybody. I mean, my tours were me, Bert Kreischer, Sebastian, Pascalco, Steve Byrne. We're all best friends, and I have a working hello goodbye with guys like Chris Rock and Seinfeld. They know me, Those we're all in that world of respect. They aren't like that. Right? Yeah.
Because I know, like I watch Joe Rogan all the time, and he says like it's all about funny, right? So you earn your stripes. You're funny. They know that you've been hustling and grinding out there. But now, when there's a new guy with you, or there's a young kid coming up, is this competitive? Or
not for me. Usually for them.
Yeah.
Like they want the title. They want to come. So when I'm on a show when I'm in LA or New York, every single person is equal.
Right.
20 minutes. Neil Brennan has 20 minutes. Butch Bradley has 20 minutes. Chappelle has 20 minutes. Here comes Rogan. Here comes Brian Callen. Here comes Ken Jeong. Here comes Tony Rock. You all have to survive that 20 minutes in front of that audience. And I'll tell you what, the winners are usually not the people you're expecting to win.
Right.
And I haven't been wealthy. I have a hunger. I'm a hungry killer still.
Right.
And I've seen these guys get rich and lose their ability. I've seen them get soft and have to re-earn it, and figure out how they're going to be wealthy driving a Bentley and still kill. And, I mean, I do really well, but I have hunger. I still go and train. But the guy right behind me, the young dude who comes in, Johnny, who's pretty out in New York, that dude wants it bad. Right. But we use all of our skills. We can slow down. We can speed up. I can go, well, that was great. Johnny's got amazing hair, and he seemed to race through that bit a little bit. But I give it, we have little techniques to get through those young killers who are the big explosions.
If a young guy or a new guy is there and he does good, will you guys invite him out for a drink? Will this
I'm friendly. Yeah. I like guys. I love comedy. I always say hello and goodbye. If you're a good person or a decent dude and you're humble, cool. There are a lot of young, cocky guys who aren't even in comedy who think they are because they've been doing open mics for 3 to 4 years. Those people, I say, I don't really have time for. I'm polite to them, but I really just don't have time or energy for them because I was taught, to be polite, respectful. Hello, I'm still, hey, what's up, Butch, Mike? Are you on the show with me tonight? Good to meet you. Oh, how are you guys? Good. That's awesome. Where am I on the lineup? I don't assume anything. The minute I think I'm the king in the room, Johnny's going to eat me alive. You know what I mean? Like, I just, and I also, any comedian can follow any comedian once they sort of know their voice. If they're humble, they're good, and they work hard.
Right.
You're going to find you. I might not have the room screaming and yelling like they did for Chappelle, but I might just fly right between those buildings in a way where they're like, I love that guy. That guy was good,
Yeah. Frank says that most comics won't laugh at another comedian, but you guys won't laugh, but you'll sit there and go, oh, he's funny, right? You're not, but what's funny. Not funny.
I love great comics.
Yeah.
I'm weird. When I booked for Bob Kephart and Robin, they would give me weeks, and I would do No Last Call, and I'd bring all my LA guys. I didn't bring anybody weak. I brought dudes that are hard to follow.
Yeah.
My shows literally were Brian Callen, Sebastian Maniscalco,
Yeah.
Johnny Sanchez from Mad TV, Bobby Lee, Murderer, Steve Byrne. Like everybody was killing for 20 minutes. And Atlantic City sold us out. It was 8 weeks of no last call. We were in rerun every night. It felt like one night, and me and the Porcelain God. It just was unbelievable, incredible. So, I love killers. It's sometimes if I'm watching and I can see the dynamics or their architecture in the joke writing, like you said, cadence.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm listening. But great comics who say great. Look, Chappelle kills me. Chappelle is so unpredictable, brilliantly beautiful.
Yep.
Whether it's political or not, that dude kills me. And sometimes we watch in silence because we're like, I wish I thought of that.
Yeah.
Joey and Eddie. Oh, I love Joey and Eddie. Incredible, Frank. Joey and Eddie's a killer. See, I started in Boston because everyone in Jersey was hilarious, and I didn't want to try and go up and learn in front of all of you.
Uh-huh.
But Boston, all killers, and our hosts like Ian Eddie, Kevin Knox, Don Gavin, Sweeney, Lenny Clark. I didn't know these guys are the people in the 80s that launched comedy.
Right.
Stephen Wright. They
Yeah.
launched it, So when I went out, the hosts of our shows were all murderers. And I learned, and with that, I was in an improv group called The Id. We had some early heat from Comedy Central. I was with Patrice O'Neill, Bill Burr, all those guys. I learned in that world. So when I went out on the road, I was like, why does the host suck? And everyone else, the host is okay, the middle's and then the closer's a killer. Well, Atlantic City, it was closer, closer, closer. Vegas is closer, closer, closer. And, of course, Hollywood's death for anyone not ready, and New York's death for anyone not ready. I was confused. The middle of the country was always easy for me. Chicago, no joke, too. Chicago's no joke. But, yeah, you got me rambling, Mike. You got me rambling.
That's what it's all about. That I love this. I could talk all day, but when you're, if you're sleeping at night, how many times a week do you go on normally, pre-COVID?
A minimum of 5 to 6. When my schedule was 7 and 9 Comedy Cellar every day. Then I go. My show's 10 o'clock, 10:30, 10 o'clock. My show. I had a 10 p.m. show. I have 5 nights a week. I could also jump in, do guest spots on the 8 or the 10. I'll jump over to the Laugh Factory, do some time, swing by maybe Kimmel's, do something, or Brad Garrett's. And because I opened Brad Garrett's first club, closed his first club, and I opened his other club. And I would cover for Brad a ton. He would call me. It was a great honor. And somebody I met in Hollywood on the Laugh Factory, I'm up on stage, and he just walked on stage and started improvising with me, and that's what you have to be ready for. And him and I improv for 20 minutes. I couldn't tell you what, but we killed, and I happen to be a weirdo East Coaster who can improv, and next thing you know, I'm headlining for him as well. So I pop all over those clubs and do spots. I would say I do like 10, 11 spots a week.
So
and then,
is your mind like, when you go to bed, are you writing notes all day? Are you filling up napkins? Are you always working on the new bit,
I can't even stop. The voices go so much. It's like ignoring somebody who has, that ringing in their ear. I have multiple conversations going all the time. When I'm on stage, I usually have like a minimum of 4 to 6 conversations going on. Like someone will be in my head, will be helping me prepare for this person who's annoying. I'll think about where I'm at on this set. Should I make adjustments? Is this material not working? Maybe I jump over to a Confederate flag bit and let them know how we should have never gotten rid of the flag or the statues, because that's how we know who the crazy white people are. I'm like, what idiots? Why are you taking their flag away? They were signaling us to turn the car around.
That's
and
good.
now I'm living next to, white supremacist gang. Brilliant. Last week they had a statue, so my brain is doing all this, and then in everyday life, my brain is taking notes.
Can you do politics today?
If you're I know who I am. So I'm not racist. I love people. If I hate you, it's probably for a good reason, like you cut me off, took my parking spot, or I'm cranky and I haven't had coffee. Those are good reasons. It won't be because of your age, your race, your color, your size. None of that amateur shit. I hate you because I need coffee. That's why. I don't give a shit if you're white, black, Chinese, Puerto. I don't care what your background is. If I hate you, it's for good New Jersey reason, because it's cold out and my car won't start. That's why I hate you. So if you're honest in who you are, you're a seasoned comedian like a Chappelle.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm a Chappelle. I'm saying let's use him as an example. You're not. You can say anything you want. We don't even have to agree, but we know he's not coming from a hateful place. So if you're able to expose your most honest voice, you can say anything you want. I have comedians in front of me who are new. I'm gonna riff this black and white bit. I go, not on my show, you're not. I go, you've been doing comedy for 4 years. You go rip that shit up the street. You're gonna do your set. I'm gonna rip some black and white stuff to help the world, and I might get in trouble, but it's my show. Right. You're gonna rip the stuff about your grandmother and your sister, and your dog. Please, I'll handle the rest.
You got to be ready on show night to you go in with a plan. All right, this is my set. This is what, and then half hour before the show, you got to change up because somebody else is doing a tip. Your bit's going to be about family. Somebody just killed about family, and I go, oh shit, my stuff.
At my level, I should be able to follow anyone. Anyone, it's my job. It's my job. Any comedian who comes to you and tells you, please don't talk about dogs, it needs to find a new career, because Michael Fagan's new. He just showed up. The guy's destroying about his wife. Destroying. Well, I want to talk about my relationship. Well, if I'm a pro, I love his, and it put me on the top of a wave that I can jump on and go, oh my God, Mike, I totally relate. Dude, I sit in the guest room alone for hours and go, I just want to be a guest in this house. I just want to be a guest. You know what I mean? Like, my voice should be so different from yours that I'm not concerned with what you're doing. But that takes years.
How about are there things that are you can't joke about these days that maybe 5-10 years ago you could? You got to stay away. Too sensitive.
Yeah, and it falls right back to that point. If you're truly, honestly, my audiences are Vegas audiences are like New York, Philly, Jersey, and Los Angeles big clubs. It's a mixed audience. It's everybody. It's a dude from England. It's a black dude from the Bronx. It's an Italian dude from the Inlet. It's mixed. It's and every now and then someone will get tight as you start into a bit. Like I said, Trump was sensitive for a while. So if you mention a Trump thing, people are exhausted from hearing shit. So your choices might be not can I politically sell it, but maybe they're just exhausted from the shit thrown down our throats.
Right.
So you might get someone ooh and ah, but in the experience level, you should be able to you can't let anyone control your freedom of speech and your voice. Hopefully you're funny or you have a great point. So you have to work those out. Usually the people that want to control a stand-up's voice are people with their own issues who are new to that environment.
Josh, once you get a good bit together, how long can you run with that?
You can run, if Bruce Springsteen ever stops singing Down by the River, I'll probably die.
Yeah.
I'm not Bruce Springsteen, and nothing I've ever written has been as good as Down by the River. But you have bits and material that people know you by, or little things. Every comedian has his own idea. If I'm on the road in, Detroit or Louisiana, I'm going to do a lot of things that people haven't seen live.
Right.
I just burned an hour and a half of material, so now I have a new hour and a half. But there are going to be people that want to hear something. Like, I get a lot of people like me talking about my fears of ghosts and being hunted by other humans. So sometimes I'll just rip a new angle from their town and their location because, you know, being a kid in Jersey, raised by a single mom, I have to check every lock in the house, and that is real. I have 2 Dobermans. That's real. And by the way, everyone 3 years ago told me I was an idiot for having 2 Dobermans. And now with the crazy world, they're like, hey, where do we get them? So, you know, so I do share a lot of fear and anxiety issues that people want to hear again, but you have to keep moving. You have to stay on it. I have to talk about having my face covered and how it feels and taking it off and having one person telling me I'm losing my freedoms, the other person saying you're respecting my freedoms.
Yeah.
So stand-up has sped up and we have to move really fast. I watch BBC, I watch NPR, I watch news from Israel. Israeli politics are incredible. I try and get a little piece of everyone so I can find the truth.
Right.
And then I stay right on that so that if you yell something out of the audience, I'm ready.
Yeah. You got to be up on current events. You got to be up on sports. You got to be up on the town that you're in, right? You got to be.
I have to be. And if I don't know, I will humbly, quickly talk to a fellow entertainer like yourself. Or, you know, my buddy Richard is brilliant in sports politics. So I go to him and I'm like, dude, I play sports. I watch. I don't know who anybody is. What's going on?
Yeah.
Can you help me here? Because people are saying this to me. You know, anything I don't have or know, or I have fellow friends that are great comics help me work out material.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, why am I missing here with this idea? And they're like, oh, you didn't know that this occurred in the Ukraine. Oh, okay. All right. So, you know, you got to be on it and just honest, really. Just got to be honest.
How about what we're going here? I'm going to just finish up. But the one thing, if you're going on stage and you need 10 minutes or 15 or a half hour, you already have the clock in your head, right? You know.
I do. A seasoned comic has to have it, but it depends what level. You know, you're doing a really big gig. TV, that big fat clock they put at our feet, and even asking someone to signal me and they ask you how much. Every comic's different. 30 seconds, a minute. All I need is like a 10-second, 15-second. You know, I just need like a note, because if you're experiencing fear, anxiety, or you're crushing, or any element of getting lost in a big moment, you might need it. My show, if I'm doing my show regularly, I do my Mondays and my Tuesdays, and when I get to a Friday or a Saturday, I might be a little lost in packed Vegas energy, and I might need like a 5 minutes, and then you're over. You know, you're going over. You're over. Right. Or stretch. Maybe I was killing and I got lost, and I'm actually under the clock, and I'm like, oh my God, I only did 40. It felt like 2 days. You know. Yeah.
Hey, Sebastian is on my bucket list. He's my biggest goal, because he was a waiter in Beverly Hills for 7 years.
Yup.
And he always talks about being a waiter. And every time he talks about being a waiter, I get 50 messages the next day. And I always call him, whenever he's at Brigada, I always call his agent and stuff. If you ever bump into him, say this nobody guy from Atlantic City, Mike Fagan, would love to interview you. All right.
He's a great dude. I'm on an airplane. I'm flying. This is probably a little over a year ago, and this big guy's in front of me, and honestly, he looks like Jesus hungover. I look, and this guy's got no shoes on. I'm cranky. Sometimes, I'm Jersey. Either I'm really happy and friendly, or I'm a little cranky. Yeah. I was a little cranky. I have a shit. I'm like, I look at this guy's feet. I swear to God, this is so crazy. My phone dings, and it's Sebastian. And I'm like, this is weird. And I open it, and he goes, can you fucking believe that guy's feet? And so Sebastian was sitting across, diagonally. And he looks at me and goes, what the fuck is with these feet? Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good dude.
He does the whole bit, like that.
He was smart, because all of us I would know where everyone's rooms were. And I actually did the Prince Super Bowl commercial with Sebastian. Him, and Steve Byrne get a call when we were in Vegas, and we got a call from ESPN. They're like, we need funny people. We thought it was fake. We went over in shorts, and we ended up working with Prince, which was mind-blowing. But Sebastian would change his room because he wouldn't want us to know where he was. He told us we shouldn't curse, and he goes, and I'm going home early. I want to meditate. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to chill. I'll see you boys at the spa. And every morning, Brett Ernst and Sebastian would make all of us get up and go to the spa, and we'd have to steam. And Steve, I did all these things. I was like Italian metrosexual when I toured with those guys. It was crazy. But I will tell them, Mike. Of course I will.
Appreciate it. I can't appreciate you. I mean, I can't thank you enough for coming on with me today. I do a small little podcast in Atlantic City. You are blowing up within no time. You are going to be, headlining and, a household name. It was a pleasure. And I really know that as we share this and more people are going to see it in my area in Atlantic City, they're going to love it. I love the stories, man. I love the stories.
Bro. Well, they're our stories. It's Lucy the elephant. It's the diving horse. It's the diving bell. It's my grandfather watching Abbott and Costello rehearse who's on first. It's the boardwalk. It's my family who are firefighters, Atlantic City postal workers, Ventnor cops, Jersey troopers, and some of the bad guys that we need occasionally to get us out of other kinds of troubles. So, it's Tony's Baltimore Grill at 3 a.m. and having one of those boys pour me a drink when I'm like, I'm sober. And they're like, but do you want to be? So it's great. It's a pleasure to be here, Mike. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Thank you. I hope when you come to Atlantic City, give me a call. I'll buy you a beer. I'd love to. All right. I know you.
100%. Buy me a sub. Thank you.
All right. And we'll be looking for the special. We'll be looking for the special.
ComedyDynamics.com. That should be out soon. I think they're in between Peacock and Netflix, but Peacock is the new comedy network that it looks like I'm going to be a part of. So I'm excited. So I'll see all of you soon. And when COVID's over, I'll see you at the clubs back in AC.
Butch, thank you very much. All my pleasure.
All right. Thank you, brother.